Here at Reptiles, for centuries, we mainly focus on ball pythons, but we do have some awesome animals that we also work with. So we're going to start off by showing you our caiman lizards. And this is actually new animals that we got in the last year. And I must say, so far, I'm really enjoying working with these animals. We recently actually built them this outside enclosure. And I must say, since we put them outside, we can see that the animals are much more enjoying the environment. And as you guys can see, is they actually like to climb also different branches and also like to elevate themselves to get closer to the sun. So what we're going to do in this enclosure, as you guys can see, is at the time all of the branches and all of the different trees that we've got in the enclosure is quite low. So all we're going to do is we're just going to try and elevate some of the branches and give them more closer access to the sun. But so far, a real awesome species to work with. And maybe in the near future, we'll be lucky enough to breed them. But at the time, we're not really concerned about that. Just having them as pets is already good enough. Then here we've got our albino iguana. So he or she is actually called McGregor. Initially, when we got him, I thought it's a male. But as he is maturing, or she is maturing, I think she could actually be a female. So what I love about the albino iguanas is just the coloration of the animals. And we had these animals inside and inside enclosures, and since we put them outside, I can just see a huge change in the coloration and also their personality. They got a lot more calm, and the engagement with the animal is a lot more exclusive. We're able to get inside the enclosures and work with the animals, which is very, very cool. So this is one of our albino iguanas, green iguanas. Then if we go to the next enclosure here, we've got our rhino iguana, and he's still a bit of a working in progress. We've had him for over 2 years now. We have had him since a hatchling, but honestly, he isn't the most friendliest animal. So we're still trying to work with him and try and see if we can get him to a stage where at least we are able to interact with him inside the enclosure without him getting a fright or being defensive. So at the time, it's still a work in progress. I must say, out of all of the animals we moved to the outside enclosures, he was the one that adapted the hardest. So at the time, we're just keeping the interactions at the minimum, just making sure that he first settles in and comes back to feeding normally how he used to feed. So here we are in our inside room. This is also where I just keep some of my pet animals. So the first animal we're going to show you in this room is our bearded dragon. So we actually called him John Jones. So my first ever reptile was actually a bearded dragon. So last year I got another one, and it's so awesome just to see how these animals also just thrive in different environments. We're actually keeping this animal throughout the day with the albino iguana, and I must say he's also enjoying the natural sunlight and the extra exposure to branches and a different elevation you can get in the enclosure. So I'm not exactly sure what is the mutation of this bearded dragon, but we got it from Ultimate Exotics, another great breeder in South Africa. And if you're looking for an awesome bearded dragon, make sure to check them out. On the right hand side, we've got a pair of our Fiji iguanas. So I see the males actually just going through a shed cycle here, but if you guys can take a closer look, you'll see the females on top there, and the male is on the left hand side on the bottom. So with these guys, because this room is quite hot, we try and not always switch on the basking spot. But these guys, it's always important also to raise the humidity. As you guys can see, is the humidity is a bit low in the cage at the time. So what we'll do is we'll just make sure to spray them down, and the male should shed quite easily afterwards. So going back to my roots, my very first snake that I ever got was a corn snake. So what best animal to get in terms of a corn snake than a scaleless corn snake? As you guys know, is I'm not very fond of the scaleless ball pythons, but the scaleless corn snakes are very, very cool. And maybe I might get bitten on this video. But the cool thing about the scaleless corn snakes, and why I actually prefer them over the scaleless ball pythons, is because they still have the belly scales. The scaleless ball pythons doesn't have any belly scales, and in my honest opinion, I just feel it hinders their movement, and the snake doesn't just normally move in a sense. With the scaleless corn snakes, as you guys can see, is they still got the belly scales, so it doesn't affect the movement of the snake at all. And another great thing about the scaleless corn snakes, you can keep them exactly the same as your other corn snakes without any troubles. So that's why I've only got this one corn snake, but as you guys can see, is a beautiful anery scaleless corn snake, and just an awesome pet here at Reptiles for centuries. So as many of you know, we used to breed actually quite a lot of Hognose, and over the last 2 years I've just decided rather not to breed with them. I just enjoy them more as pets, and I wanted to put my focus towards the ball pythons, but I had to keep a few Hognose back just because they're such awesome animals and got such great personalities. So if you guys are also looking for a different colubrid as a pet, Hognose do make great animals and great pets. So here we've got a fully grown male. This is a Super Conda Exantic, and this is one of my dream Hognoses at the time before we produced this animal. So I thought of keeping this male back with one other female, but they are really awesome animals. So like I said, if you're looking for an awesome pet, look at no further and look for Hognose. So we're here in our office space, so what better animal to have in the office than green tree pythons. So we also used to have a very good collection of GTPs, and in the start of 2020 I unfortunately had to sell most of my GTP collection, and over the last 3 years I've just been missing the animals completely, and I thought it's a good time to get back into GTPs. And so far, same with the Hognose, we're just aiming towards them as pets, but we never know in the near future if we will try and breed the green tree pythons again. But yeah, we were able to pick up 2 neonates from a local breeder, and I must say so far they're doing very, very well. So here's one of the animals we've got. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of information about the locality. I believe it's a Sarong Jaipura mix, but unfortunately I can't pinpoint exactly what is the locality types of these animals. But real awesome animals, and I'm very excited to have GTPs back in the collection. Guys, we just launched our USA Morph Market page, so if you're looking for a new ball python, make sure to go check out Reptiles for Centuries USA. We ship every second month to the US. We look forward to hearing from you guys.